thank you for joining us for today's webinar hosted by the Emerging Viruses and Cucurbits Working Group. We are thrilled to see so many participants join us. I'm Rebecca Melanson, an extension plant pathologist with the Mississippi State University Extension Service and the co-chair for the Emerging Viruses and Cucurbits Working Group. I will also be serving as your webinar host today. Today's webinar is the first webinar in the series Cucurbit Viruses in the United States, hosted by the EVCWG, and will introduce you to the EVCWG, Cucurbit Viruses in the United States, and then we'll focus on Whitefly-transmitted viruses in cucurbits. The second webinar will focus on aphid, beetle, and thrips-transmitted viruses in cucurbits. And the third webinar will focus on other vectored and mechanically and seed-transmitted viruses and viruses with unknown modes of transmission in cucurbits. As a reminder, each webinar has a separate registration and a unique join link, so be sure to register for each webinar of interest. Those links will be added to the chat here momentarily. While the focus for this webinar series is in the United States, many of the discussed viruses will occur and cause problems outside of the United States. So before we get started, just a few reminders. Today's Zoom session is in the webinar format, so all attendee microphones and videos are turned off. All webinars in this series will be recorded, and recordings will be posted to the EVCWG website sometime after the webinar. These webinars have been approved for Certified Crop Advisor CEUs, or Continuing Education Units. The QR code to immediately receive your CEUs will be shared at the end of the webinar before the Q&A session. Each of the individual presentations in today's webinar should last about 10 minutes, and we will have a Q&A session at the end of all of the formal presentations. We ask that you submit your questions through the Q&A box rather than through the chat, and we will hold all of the questions and responding to them until the end. In the interest of time, I will not provide bios for each of our speakers, but speaker bios are available on the webinar registration page, and we will also share that link here shortly.